Hi guys, my name's Doug. Welcome to My Messy Garage. In this week's video, we're going to be looking at a new tool. Obviously, this isn't the tool, it's the box that it came in. But we're going to be assembling a floor model abrasive blast cabinet from Princess Auto. Some of you may not have heard of Princess Auto before, the Power Fist brand. If you've watched AVE's videos, you know what his opinion of this stuff is. Essentially, this is the same blast cabinet that Harbor Freight sells. Out on the internet, there is a ton of videos showing different modifications for the Harbor Freight blast cabinet. And I do plan on doing several of those modifications. We're going to start off with the simple ones that don't cost a whole lot. If necessary, I might end up buying the Tacoma Company's blast cabinet modifications. But the deluxe kit for that is about $500 US. So let's start off with the cheap and easy ones first. First step in today's video, we're going to put the cabinet together. After that, then we'll look at modifications. Anyways, follow along. Hopefully you learned something. Thanks for watching. So first things first, we need to get some organization done here. As you can see, I've got some tins that I've moved some screws out into. The parts come in this blister pack, and you can kind of see the blisters are not lined up with the paper the way they're quite supposed to be. Kind of an indication of the quality of fasteners we're dealing with, I think. Anyways, my plan is to dump the screws out into little well-used tuna tins. I use these for holding rivets or screws when I'm building airplanes, or screws when I'm building sandblasting cabinets. I'm going to take a utility knife and extract the label that says what each of these parts in the blisters are, and put that little card in the tray so that when I'm reading the instructions and it says use M4 screws, nuts, and washers, I'll be able to easily identify which of the trays that part is coming from. So here we are, we've got them all taken apart, made nice little tags for all of the bins, tell me what is in the bin. The only exception is this bin that I have larger parts in. The light clamps are pretty obvious, the sandblasting tips are pretty obvious. All the parts in there should not be any issue identifying them in the manual. So let me start working on step one in the manual and we'll see where we get to. So here are the assembly instructions in the manual. Not what I would call the most user-friendly manual in the world. Basically it's kind of like put the big box together, then put the funnel underneath together. One thing that I have seen recommended repeatedly on the YouTube videos about this style of blast cabinet is to use sealant on all of the gaps. I picked up a tube of black caulking that I'm going to use on most of the parts today. However, given that I want to do some modifying to this cabinet in the future, I'm not going to be putting any sealant on these parts until I do the final assembly. The funnel, I don't plan on taking it apart again, so it can go together with the glue at this point. These pieces I'll leave so I can pull apart. One other thing that I've seen recommended is to put the heads of the screws on the inside rather than putting them on the outside, and then having the nut and washer on the inside to catch blast material. I've also seen people recommend taking these screws to the grinder and grinding the head down low profile. I think that's taking it a little bit too far. I'd be happy with just the dome head. So let's start putting some of this stuff together and see how it works out. So we've got it put together here, and you can see that the ends fit out over the top, as is the back and the front also go over the top. And again, I've just put a few screws in here because I plan on taking this all apart again and sealing it up and adding a few minor modifications to things before I put this into service. But it fits fairly well together. The finish leaves a little bit to be desired in places. It appears to be either a baked on enamel finish or maybe powder coated. Anyways, for what I paid for it, it'll do. So we're going to put the funnel together next. And I've got some, I don't know, rubber black sealant. Hopefully I can put this on without getting it absolutely everywhere. Side went together, not too bad. Let's just do that all over again. We got the hopper built. So looking at the next section, it's almost like the instructions are put everything else together. It's not the clearest instructions in the world. They don't have any diagrams, and they don't give a whole lot of information on how this thing is supposed to go together. Again, we've got this gasket material here that I don't want to rely on. Eventually, I want to have a sealant between the flange here and that. Well, actually, I don't plan on using this. I plan on building another one that fits into the funnel, so that you get another, 3, 4, 5 inches of usable depth in the unit. It's one of the mods that I've seen on other videos. But for now, we're basically building this thing, for the most part, according to plans. It appears that it is supposed to go together, something like that. Then the screen, the sandblasting gets done on, is supposed to sit on these bars. M6 screws, washers, etc. Out of this bin. Unfortunately, there's no holes in the gasket material. There's gasket material on both sides, so we'll have to go along and find the holes, punch the screwdriver through. Well, there, that kind of sort of gives us the front legs. Now we've got to figure out how to reach in and do the backs. So I think I see where I made a mistake. I was thinking those bolts that were holding the hopper into the bottom of the unit were kind of on the short side. And I was right. That's the bolt I should have been using. It's almost twice the length. That will make things much easier for bolting the hopper in. Again, I don't plan on keeping it, so long term, but it's a good place to start. And what told me that I was using the wrong hardware was that amount of hardware for attaching the shelf to the legs of the appropriate length. So therefore, we must have other hardware someplace else. And I found the longer screws Again, the instructions for this are not great. You kind of gotta make it up as you go along. So now I got the basic cabinet put together. Again, I haven't put the screws in all of it because I plan on taking it apart again and sealing it up and making a few minor modifications. But we'll put some of the accessory bits and pieces on here. These are supposed to have a gasket on them, although that's not much of a gasket. So here we are. We basically got it put together roughly. I haven't put sealing in any of these joints. That'll have to be taken apart and sealed. Let's see if the camera will point in the right direction. Up here I haven't got any bolts. The glass goes on here. The glass is a some kind of tempered glass with an acrylic sheet to protect it. So you can see the inside of the cabinet looks fairly decent. You know, it is what it is. It's built to a price point. You get what you pay for. Something tells me I got to change these screws out. The longer screws are for the glass, and they are designed to have nuts on the back side of them. That makes changing out the glass kind of a challenge. You got to reach in all the way from the door to this point to get at these nuts. So one of the recommendations I've seen on a video was installing riv nuts. Installing riv nuts in these holes takes care of the need to get in behind with a wrench or pair of pliers to take the lens or to take the cover off to get at the glass. One other mod that I plan on doing is putting a deflector over top of this outlet so that it draws air from down below instead of sucking dust. I'm going to set up a vacuum cleaner that comes off of here through a cyclonic filter that will collect the crap down in a 5-gallon pail. So this is what the cabinet's supposed to look like when it's done. Obviously I have a few more steps to go before mine looks like this. However, with wanting to do some modifications, I didn't want to have to get too carried away assembling and then disassembling the cabinet to do what I want to do with it. So check back in a few weeks. Hopefully I'll have some more videos up by then on how I modify this cabinet to make it more functional. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment. For more great content from Doug's Messy Garage, click on one of the videos that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. Thanks for watching.